rise and shine. Coffee's brewing, feeling fine. News is out and on the air. Shizzy whiz nuts wild, but we don't care. Morning whiz and coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy whiz nuts, start the show. Let's go. Spinning in the breeze, stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java with a smile, pants are off but stay a while. Morning whiz and coffee, talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy whiz, let's start the show, let's go. Headlines spinning in the breeze, stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java, wear a smile, pants are off but stay a while. Morning whiz and coffee, talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy whiz, let's start the show, let's go. Serious is overrated, every day we're caffeinated. Talk the town but in a jest, morning whiz is always best. Clock is ticking, time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop. Clock is ticking, time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop.
Oh my god, Shizzy breaks Larry. Shizzy broke Larry.
Good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday, I think. Yeah, it's Tuesday. Oh, man, what a beautiful day it's going to be. Good morning, Ingrid. Good morning, Tammy Bugard. Kimberly Ria. It is wonderful to see you. Magic Angel. How you doing? How you doing? Tammy Bugard. Ah, yes. Kathy Stewart. Nice to see you. It's such a beautiful day. It's such a beautiful day. Fall storm. I don't know what day it is. I really don't. Most of the time I don't. I just go, oh, it's today trash day. Oh, it's gonna be an interesting one today. It's gonna be an interesting one today. Oh boy. Let's see, where do we start? Well, why don't we start with the creepy part? Hold on just a second. Nice sneeze. That's the way to get this morning started. Good morning, Debbie Minton. How you doing? Good to see you. Oh yeah, the Adobe barks in your intro. Intro. I think he likes it. Good. I think he meant to say doggy, but I appreciate it. Yeah, I hope the doggo barks whenever they're there. Thank you very much, Tammy. Oh man, normally I don't get all sniffly, but you guys are just so wonderful to me. Oh yes. We'll start with the creepy stuff to start the day out. Like it could get creepier. There we go. Sean, the Deadly Combs accused in a new lawsuit of essaying a 10 and 17-year-old boys. Sean Diddy Combs is accused of one of two lawsuits filed Monday of drugging and essaying 10-year-old boy in New York City hotel room in '05. The second lawsuit accuses the jailed hip-hop mogul of similarly assaulting a 17-year-old who would be contested would-be contestant on a reality television series Making the Band in 2008. The lawsuit filed in the Supreme Court in New York are the latest in a wave of lawsuits in which accusers allege that they were essayed by Combs at parties and meetings over the last 2 decades. Combs' lawyers denied the 2 new claims Monday and accused the plaintiff's lawyer Anthony Busby, who also represents accusers in earlier lawsuits, of seeking publicity. Mr. Combs and his legal team have full confidence in the fact and the integrity of the judicial process. In an emailed statement in court, the truth will prevail that Mr. Combs never essayed or trafficked anyone, man or woman, adult or minor. Combs, 54, incarcerated in New York City jail after pleading not guilty to the federal sex trafficking charges contained in an indictment unsealed the day after his September 16th arrest. Charges include allegations he coerced and abused women, silenced victims through blackmail and through violence. A 10-year-old boy was not identified in the lawsuit, was an aspiring actor and rapper who had traveled with his parents from California for meetings with the music industry representatives, during which he was supposed to be in an audition for Combs. He was given a drug-laced soda by Combs' associate and essayed by the Bad Boys record founder, according to the lawsuit. The boy eventually lost the consciousness. When he awoke, Combs threatened to badly hurt the child's parents if he told anyone what happened. The filing said. In a second lawsuit, 17-year-old unidentified male said Combs forced him into acts with Combs and a bodyguard during a 3-day audition for Making the Band, which Combs produced. When the aspiring contestant expressed reservations, he was eliminated from the competition, unable to return to the music industry for 7 years, according to the filing. Both lawsuits were brought under New York City's Victims of Gender-Motivated Violence. Don't understand what that's supposed to mean, which allows survivors to bring lawsuits even if the statute of limitations has passed. Interesting. And I believe I was hearing from somebody, some little birdie told me that Combs got moved from his location. They were doing an investigation into where Combs was at, and it looks like they moved him to another location. Interesting, huh? It's interesting that they would move him right in the middle of all of this. Do you think he's going to start giving up the names? Maybe they're a little bit worried about it. I think there might be something happening there that we don't know about. There's a big possibility. Don't know, but we can't really put my finger on it. Just saying, there's something going on there. We don't know exactly what it is. But there is one good thing to know. There's one good thing to know in all of this, because as that really matters as much as Apple launches a new iPhone into the AI era with a free software update. Apple is releasing a free software update that will inject its first dose of artificial intelligence into its iPhone 16 lineup as the trend-setting company tries to catch up with the rest of the freaking world. The upgrade to the iOS 18 operating system on Monday arrives more than a month after the 4 iPhone 16 models equipped with the special computer chip. It's a special computer chip needed to power in the AI features went on sale at prices ranging from $800 to $1,200. That really sucks if you were devastated by a hurricane, because, well, you just can't quite afford that new iPhone now, can you? Last year's premium models, the 15 Pro and the 15 Pro Max, also possess a processor that will enable AI technology after the software update is installed. Recent versions of Apple's iMac and iPad and Mac computer can also be updated with the software. Countries outside the US won't be getting that AI software for their phones until next year, at a date to be determined. Apple spent the past 5 weeks testing the AI software among the audience of iPhone owners who signed up to help the company fine-tune that technology. An AI infusion is supposed to transform Apple's often bumbling Siri into more conversational, versatile, and colorful companion. Those present will be denoted by a glowing light that circles the iPhone screen as requests are being handled, as if it wasn't listening to you enough. Now you're going to have AI listening to you. That sounds spooky. While Apple is promising Siri will be able to perform more tasks and less prone to becoming confused, It won't be able to interact with other apps installed on the iPhone until another software update. It's all about the software updates. Ooh, download this product onto your computer. And, talking about that particular thing, because whenever I saw that, I was like, there's some news that I read not too long ago. See if I can find that, because it's pretty interesting that it has. I'm trying to see who wrote this. It was pretty cool. Whenever I read it, I was like, that can't be true, but it makes more sense now. Okay, makes more sense now. Large language models, which is LLMs, reflect the ideology of their creators. Now, if you don't know what an LLM is, just listen really closely, because this might be important for you, of those of you who want to get that iPhone. Large language models, or LLMs, are trained on vast amounts of data to generate natural language, enabling them to perform tasks like text summarization and question answering. These models have become popular in AI assistants like ChatGPT and already play an influential role in how humans access information. However, the behavior of LLMs varies depending on the design, the training, and use. In this paper, we uncovered notably diversity in the ideological stance exhibited across different LLMs and the language in which they are accessed. We do this by prompting a diverse panel of different LLMs, which new LLMs would be, like the Siri and things like that, or the new update that they're getting ready to put on iPhones, to describe a large number of prominent and controversial personalities from recent world history, both in English and in Chinese. I don't know why Chinese, but that's how they worked it. By identifying and analyzing moral assessments reflected in the generated descriptions, we find consistent formative normative differences between the same LLM response in Chinese compared to English. Similarly, we identify normal disagreements between Western and non-Western LLMs about prominent actors in geopolitical conflicts. Furthermore, popularly hypothesized disparities in geopolitical conflicts, in political goals among Western models are reflected in significant normative differences related to inclusion, social inequity, and political scandals. Our results show that the ideological stance of an LLM also reflects the worldview of its creators. That's pretty important. That raises important concerns about the technology and the regulatory effects, with the stated aim of making LLMs ideologically unbiased, and poses risks for political instrumentation. Welcome, Elsie. Became a new YouTube member. Thank you very much for becoming the newest YouTube member. You are now one of the nuts. What a crowd this morning. Yes, there's always a crowd this morning, Nanny. Good to see you. How you doing, Nanny Goat? Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you so much. Good morning, Shannon. It is interesting to see all you fine folks coming in, making it in. It's getting to the point that it would be easier to list who ain't. It's such a, with Combs. So you think about that. With this new Apple iPhone launch, keep that in mind. Most of the AI features Apple introduced Monday are already available on Android phones, because they really want to get you. They really want to get you on the Apples and the Google phones, because the Apple and the Google phones don't have the ability to lock you out. If I'm not mistaken, Apple has with their new phones, they put an encryption in there that not even the creators can access. The software geniuses behind all of it, the engineers, they're not able to unencrypt them, which makes you wonder how this will all play out. Is it true or is it false? Will they still be able to get into it, or are they just telling you that? Take a moment, make sure you hit that thumbs up. It also takes seconds, and it helps me look more silly. Good morning, my lovely Iron Rabbit. Hello, everyone. Just stopped in to hit that like button. She slapped it, spanked it around, fed it, put it on its way. Because most iPhones currently in use around the world don't have a computer chip needed for Apple's AI, you're going to get screwed. Apple's will give investors their first glimpse at how the iPhone 16 is faring Thursday when the company posts quarterly financial information for the July-September quarter. Speaking of which, as they want to talk about their stocks, we have this date in history, the great stock market crash of 1929. This day in history, that's what happened. We had a stock market crash that was not as bad as we've had before. Well, Clump, look at you. Gave a super sticker. Thank you so much for the $3 super sticker. Let's see what that super sticker is. It is a shocker. It is a shocker. It is a shocker. That's awesome. You gave me a shocker sticker. I love it. Thank you. Thank you. I need to rewind. Are we thumbs up or thumbs down on this 16? Man, I don't care what you guys get. You can get a 16, a 15, a 14, 13, 12, an 8. I don't care. Get yourself, if you want to get an iPhone, get an iPhone. I don't know. But the great stock market crash in 1929 on Black Monday, October 28th, 1929, the Dow Jones Industrial Average declined nearly 13%. That's wild, isn't it? 13% in one day. Well, the roaring 20s roared loudest and longest in the New York Stock Exchange. Share prices rose to unprecedented heights. The Dow Jones Industrial Average increased six-fold from 63 in August 1921 to 381 in September of 1929. After prices peaks, economist Irving Fisher proclaimed stock prices have reached what looks like a permanently high plateau. The epic boom ended in a cataclysmic bust on Black Monday, October 28th, 1929. The Dow declined nearly 13%. On the following day, Black Tuesday, the market dropped nearly 12%. So this is a total of 24%. By mid-November, the Dow had almost lost half its value. The slide continued through the summer of 1932 when the Dow closed down at 41.22, its lowest value of the 20th century, 89% below its peak. The Dow did not return to its pre-crash heights until November 1954. Financial boom occurred during an era of optimism. Families prospered, automobiles, telephones, other new technologies proliferated. Ordinary men and women invested growing sums in stocks and in bonds. A new industry of brokerage houses, investments, trusts, margins accounts enabled ordinary people to purchase corporate equities and with borrowed funds. That's what you should never do. Do not borrow money to take money or things. Purchasers put down a fraction of the price, typically 10%, and borrowed the rest. The stocks that they bought served as collateral for the loan. Borrowed money poured into equity markets and stock markets soared. Skeptics existed, however. Among them was the Federal Reserve. The governors of the Federal Reserve banks and a majority of the Federal Reserve Board believed stock market speculation diverted resources from productive uses like commerce and industry. The board asserts that the Federal Reserve Act does not contemplate the use of resources of the Federal Reserve. So Federal Reserve is trying to make themselves out like they're doing so wonderfully great. Max Murrah, you were on our lips last night. Hurrah! Hi, like Coca-Cola. Reminds me of a recent quote about Coke. It makes you feel like you won the lottery, then after it makes you feel like you lost the ticket. But that would be the government's fault, Max. That's totally the government's fault. What are you talking about? The board's opinions stem from the text and action section 13, unauthorized reserve banks to accept collateral for discounted loans. Doesn't that sound familiar? Doesn't that sound really familiar? Discounted loans. I mean, you think about that. Isn't there one presidential candidate that's out there telling people that they're gonna give people uncertified loans that aren't really going to be backed? They want to make sure that you get a discount for a first-time home buyer, but only if you qualify, which means you have to be a certain color. You have to have a certain equity or disparagement or a certain integrity or something like that, because it's racist. Oh wait, I've heard this one. People are going around trying to set fire to ballot boxes. Read about last night. Oh, I've got that story coming up. You don't worry. Only took 2 wars to get the stocks back up. Well, had those bonds too. Section 14 of the Act extended those powers and prohibitions to purchase in the open market. And of course, well, the Federal Reserve likes to say that they did so much funds that led to the stock market floated in New York City's commercial banks. Well, that was because those commercial banks were making a shit ton of money off of putting out those loans at high interest rates. Now you tend to forget that the Federal Reserve caused this shit in the first place, because they could have said, no, we're not going to loan those things out to you. But no. Same reason we had a housing market crash, same reason that the dot-com bubble burst, the same reason that we went through the Great Recession, which actually lost more value over a shorter period of time. It's interesting to me that people still haven't learned, but yet we're going to make these unsecured loans to people that can't afford to pay the shit back. We need to stop doing this. We need to really just stop doing this. I don't understand the reasoning behind all of this crap. It makes no sense to me. But these people might understand. This next group of folks right here, we're talking about these American voters. Now, they like to put these little hyphenated things in there to differentiate people, but I will tell you that these folks that are American voters are no different than any other American voter, and their votes count identically the same as every American voter. And they're trying to make their choice, either Harris, Trump, or neither. Well, that sounds just sort of like politics. You're going to vote one way or the other, or maybe not any way at all. Dearborn, Michigan. There's bowls of food sitting around in this Lebanese restaurant near Detroit. Okay. Yet no one seemed to have much of an appetite. One side were camel toes, top emissaries to the Arab community. Why don't you just say American community? But, we have to differentiate. We got to separate those people out. On the other were local leaders who were explaining once again why many of the community couldn't vote for the vice president because of the war in Gaza. Well, there's just a few of those there. They'll say, I love this country, but I tell you, we have never been so disappointed in this country as we are now, said Mr. Ayad, chairman of the Arab American Civil Rights League. We wanted to give the Democrat Party the opportunity to do something, and they hadn't done it. Sounds familiar? Sounds familiar. We've heard this before. The one line we can't cross is genocide. No, you don't do the genocide. Genocide be bad. Boghazi and Abdel were hired by Harris's campaign to spearhead Arab and Muslim outreach, listening intently, but not really. They're just there as a show. That's it. Good morning, Betsy. Good morning. How are you? Why exactly we certain form of IP wants to candidate guaranteed get us into war? Well, that's what they want. You notice that. The Harris loses Michigan in the presidential election last week. It's conversations like this one that could explain why. Sweetheart, I'll save your ass a whole lot of money. Okay? You want to listen? Harris. You want, I'll tell you what. All those people that you're sending out to do these polls and check on the little communities and all that stuff, all you have to do, those millions of dollars that you're spending, you can just cut that in half, send that half to me, because I want to give you some advice right now. Okay? If you want to know why you're losing, you need to stop sucking the teat off of the diversity, equity, and inclusion crowd. Grow a backbone. Have some standards. Stop killing children. Stop cutting parts off of little children. You'd be amazed how many people will start agreeing with you. Stop taking our boys to war. Okay? I mean, we can go down through the whole list. You want to understand why you're going to lose this year? How about this? It's a novel idea. Why don't you do a regular primary like most voters did this year? Jeez Louise. You can save yourself millions of dollars. Send it to me. Send your money to me, Karis. I will guarantee that I will give you an invoice. You can 1099 me. I know that the government's going to get half of that in taxes anyway, so I'm going to double my price. How's that? And I'll give you all the advice you need, and I'll tell you exactly why you're going to lose this year. If you want to stop losing, stop going after your political rivals with the force of the federal government. If you don't like what they have to say, change the conversation. Well, the Democrats, now you notice they don't call them Democrats anymore. They call them Democrats now. Well, those Democrats, they fear that Harris will pay a steep political price for U.S. support for Israel. That's not what it is, sweetheart. That's only a small little nubbin of where you're screwing up, which rejects allegations that military operations in Gaza constitute. That is a lie. That is not anything near what they wanted to say. Like I said, Harris is a big supporter of the Palestine. There's a lot of people that don't like how she sits on the fence, that she has done nothing for the past 4 years. Community members who normally back Democrats say they face the impossible decision. Either they punish Harris for what they view as complicity in the deaths of at least 43,000 people, according to the Gaza Health Ministry, or they endured Donald Trump's return to the White House, which they just gave him a nice recognition, if I'm not mistaken, there in Michigan. They had a lot of good things to say, the Muslim community did about Donald Trump. Why? Because he doesn't let this bullshit get to him. A reminder of the situation's complexity came in Ann Arbor on Monday night when Harris held a campaign rally. One of the few Arab American elected. This is why you are going to lose. This is another reason why. Because you have people like the AP that are pushing down everybody's throat that you have to differentiate everyone from everyone else. You've got this whole goal of segregation. Again, did you guys not learn back in the 30s, the 20s, the 18s? You guys haven't learned. You need to stop doing this racially motivated bullshit that nobody fucking buys into. I mean, we had a little bit of a reprieve during the 80s, but not for very long because you guys started up your shit again. It's amazing to me you guys just still haven't figured this out. You've gone through civil rights and you still haven't figured out how racist your party is. Jeez Louise. Maybe whenever you guys figure this out, you'll understand that people like people. Ah, God, stop talking there. Just solve them. Yeah. Just save the millions. There you go. But as Harris began her remarks, pro-Palestinian protesters, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, interrupted by chanting. Harris responded, "Hey guys, I hear you. We all want this war to end as soon as possible." No, the Americans want the war to end as soon as possible. They want all the wars to end as soon as possible, but you just can't stop, can you? You've already sent how much more money to Ukraine, and you're getting ready to send even more before the end of the year. And then next year, you've already got it set up where you're going to be throwing them some more damn money. And the following year. You've got this shit going on, and you are just throwing money left and right, wondering why the economy is going to shit. You shut down oil production, so which means you have to get it from other countries that might not be kindest to the United States. And then you wonder what the hell happened. And then you continue on with your war bullshit. It's unclear how many skeptics Harris will be able to win over, especially since she has not proposed any changes whatsoever in U.S. policy. No. For the past 4 years, you've made policy, except nobody's talking about it. The AP doesn't talk about it. I feel bad for you guys. 4 years ago, Joe Biden won by a 3-1 margin in Dearborn, where nearly half of the 110 residents are of Arab descent. You mean they're not Americans? Now Democrats are concerned some of these voters will go to Trump or third-party candidates like Jill Stein. Well, if they go to Jill Stein, they're just asking for even more of the same crazy policies that they've had under the Democrats. But they're saying that those are split. There'll be those who vote for Harris, recognizing that they could get a seat at the table. What? A seat at the table? What the hell is that supposed to mean? Wait, are you telling me the same thing that they did for slavery? Give people a seat at the table? That's some dark shit right there, AP. God. Telling me they're going to give them a seat at the table. No, that's a wow. I didn't realize the Democrats were that way. That is the most ridiculous shit that I've heard this week. A seat at the table. God, it's just like saying, well, you can move into the masses' house. Jeez Louise. Fuck me. But there's a chunk that will vote for Stein or they'll stay home. There's a minority who will vote for Trump. You see how they try to downplay it? Don't wake up the freaks in your party at the expense of those who haven't been awake and working and trying to force them to change to please the freaks. Yeah. Trump has secured numbers of endorsements from the Muslims in the area, including 2 from Democrat mayors who represent the majority of Muslims in cities outside Detroit. He brought several Muslims on stage at a rally in Metro Detroit on Saturday. Boy, I bet that really pisses off the AP, doesn't it? He argues he will put a stop to the endless wars. He notes the Abraham Accords that Israel signed with several Arab nations during his presidency. He also mocked Harris's embrace of Liz Cheney, a conservative whose father, Dick, was a key force behind U.S. invasion of Iraq and continuing wars. So every war, the Cheneys get richer. That's why they're supporting Camel Toe. You wonder why they're supporting Camel Toes, because the Cheneys are set to make a hell of a lot of money. No, I guess people forgot about Halliburton. I think they were just referring to the movie, the program with the seat at the table. They just left the Star of Defense and headbutting the cars poured out. No, trust me. They think that that's what they're referring to, but it goes way back. We're talking way back. It's not a good trope. I'm just saying they may want to lose that thing. But many top Arab American leaders, even those who have not endorsed Harrison, are deeply negative towards Trump. Oh, they say his endorsement don't reflect a majority of the community. Well, they also remember his call for a complete and total shutdown on, wait, what was the shutdown for? It said on travel restrictions on visitors from Muslim majority countries. But that's not what it was. No. It was from countries that were threatening the United States with terroristic threats. Those countries, and I can't remember all of them off the top of my head, and I'm not going to call them all out. Those countries were threatening the United States with another 9/11. There was a real threat. And so he locked those countries down from coming in. Wild how that works out. The Democrats like to call it the Muslim ban because those were majority Muslim countries. But he had it under good authority that there were a lot of these people that were wanting to come into the United States, looking to cause harm to the United States. And he was doing his job as president, protecting the American people. As commander-in-chief of the greatest military force in the world, He was making sure that we didn't have to go to war with another country because somebody wanted to be a dumbass and start some shit. So he banned them. Made it more difficult for them to come into this country and cause problems with this country. Now they just cross across the southern border. Interesting. Harris wins over some who back the uncommitted movement, which we don't know what that means. Well, they should be committed, but they're not. A Lebanese American with the deputy executive of Wang County is among the few Arab leaders in Michigan to have endorsed Harris. He says it's to ensure the community doesn't return to a Trump presidency that opened up old wounds for the generation that lived through these post 9/11 years. So tell me, people, what was it? Was it all Arabs? Was it just certain Arabs that people got a little bit skeptical of whenever 9/11 they flew planes into airplanes or planes into the World Trade Center? Not once, but twice. Or how about went into the Pentagon? I mean, you can look at it however you want to, but there was a little bit of division there. He was jolted awake by the immigration agents in 2005 whenever they came to detain his wife, who'd come into the country when she was 2 years old and was unaware that she didn't have legal citizenship. Oh, they're starting on this shit again. So this isn't about the Arab community. This story that the AP is writing is talking about the illegals that have been crossing our southern border, coming into this country, and are going to be deported whenever Trump becomes president. That's what this is. That's what this story is about. It has nothing to do at all whatsoever with what they're saying it is. Interesting. So what does it have to do with why do they have this story? Why is it that they have this story? Because the head of ICE had this to say.
We have seen one estimate that says it would cost $88 billion to deport 1 million people a year.
I don't know if that's accurate or not.
Is that what American taxpayers should expect?
What price do you put on national security? Is that worth it?
Is there a way to carry out mass deportation without separating families?
Of course there is. Families can be deported together.
Wild, huh? Wild. That's why they're upset. Because they're going to lose their voting block. Why would they be concerned with it? Because they would lose their voting block if you did a mass deportation. You could move the whole family along with them. Good morning, Captain Kern. Good to see you. How are you doing this morning? Good morning, Catherine Boysen. I think that's right. It's sad to say, most Americans do not know the difference in our American neighbors. Well, here's the thing. If you're in America, you need to lose anything that's differentiating you from another American. You should lose the Black American, the Asian American, the Hispanic American, the American American, the American Indian American, all of the shit that comes before American. Lose it. Become an American. It's really straightforward. You want to be an American, be an American. If you want to be an Arab, you want to be an Indian, you want to be Jewish, you want to be whatever thing you want to put in front of it. White, black, don't matter. Take your happy ass back to there. Whence it is that you want to put before America, because you shouldn't be putting anything except for God in front of America. So how about godly American? How about that? I mean, it's a harsh reality, but once you realize that those adjectives that they're putting in front of your name are doing this to separate you from other Americans. Once you lose that hyphenation, you just become American. Americans believe X, Y, or Z. You become unified. But it's not about unity in the United States anymore. It's about being divisive. Lose the divisiveness. You'd be surprised how much it shuts down Democrats. If you're worried about it, lose the hyphenations. Yep. You pledge your allegiance to America. If you're from England, do you call yourself a Arab Englishman? No. Do you call yourself an Englishman if you're born, raised in England? Can I still get my corned beef and cabbage? Yeah. It's an American dish. Like I said, it's all about separating people. It's all about separating people. Once you lose that separation, it really makes it difficult for the left to carry through their plan of separating us all out into our little boxes. Makes Americans harder to control. But whenever they have you segregated out like they do, it makes them feel oh so sweet, because they're just like, you've fallen into our evil little plans. I don't know what this is, but whatever. You've fallen into their evil little plans, because now they've made you another, which means you become angry at this other because there's something different than you, because look, they believe different than us. That black American believes different than the Chinese American. No, that would be sort of like American disagrees with another American. But if you all agree on a common language, on a common goal, on a common stance, on a common belief, the core beliefs, then you have the other stuff that separates you out, but your core beliefs should remain the same. That we're a constitutional republic. That the voice of the minority is no louder than the voice of the majority. It's no quieter. It has the same weight, carries the same weight anywhere in the United States. It's a novel idea, but I mean, I think someone already thought of it before me. I wonder who that was. Might have been the founding fathers. How you doing? Where's the nighter? She's got it. Good to see you, Stormy Storm. Wonderful, wonderful. Oh my gosh, Stacy. Yeah, we got you in our prayers there, Stacy. Yes. He said, Turf said his community was primarily Republican until those years. But members moved towards the Democrats during Barack Obama's presidency and then helped Biden beat Trump in 2020. Those political bonds are now ruptured, sort of like a bad spleen. Hamas attacked Israel on October 7th, which they have to keep reminding us. And we still have we still have wars going on in the Middle East. They'll be going on long after we've gone. And of course, they have to talk about civilian casualties in Gaza. That's what happens in war. Is you have civilian casualties. I mean, this is why war is bad. War is bad. Stay away from it. He said he told Harris about his grandmother's death nearly 2 decades ago, and I felt her empathy. She felt my pain. Turf's endorsement has sparked backlash on social media. Photoshopped images accuse him of endorsing atrocities in Gaza. See, this is why you don't open up your email. You don't look at your email. Harris makes her closing arguments to people that she likes to other out. Harris said she's very proud to have the support of just a few people, but Harris has not called for any reduction in the flow of U.S. weapons, because that's money right there. She made $77 million last year, if I'm not mistaken. That's what her worth is up to. It's one of those two. But yeah, she's made a lot of money off of the backs of our men and women in the armed forces. During October 26th, meeting with Arab American leaders, because they're differentiated from the rest of the American leaders, Canna sat next to Harris Arab and Muslim outreach directors, while acknowledging that's not enough, has been done by Harris to help end the war. If Trump is elected, people like me won't be in any of the rooms. What does that mean? Won't be in any of the rooms. What does that mean? I see what it is. Because you're saying that Camel Toe's gonna stop feeding you the scraps off of her table. She's gonna bring you into the fold. But if we look at a lot of the rhetoric coming out of this person, is it good? Is it bad? Are they calling for more divisive measures in the United States? I would venture to say, yeah, probably. I mean, if you have to still call yourself an Arab American, then you're just as divisive as the next one. Just saying. May want to get rid of that. Get rid of that. And it's funny. It's funny that we talk about that. And what happens here? Americans in Puerto Rico. What? Americans in Puerto Rico. Why don't you call them Puerto Rican Americans? Come on. Well, left. But it only works one way. San Juan, Puerto Rico. A comic calling Puerto Rico garbage before a packed Donald Trump rally in New York was the latest humiliation for an island territory that has long suffered from mistreatment. Residents said Monday, expressions of fury that could affect the presidential election. Huh? Really? The problem is the left doesn't understand jokes. They don't understand humor. If you don't want it to be a shithole place, then stop treating it like a shithole place. The amount of corruption that's going on in Puerto Rico currently pales in comparison. You remember why you didn't get aid, right? Because you had management on that damned island of yours that was not helping people. There were politicians that were lining their pockets and their political allies. That's why Puerto Rico wasn't getting funding. Do you not remember that? Oh, I guess the memory is short term for these people. Good job, Puerto Rico. Puerto Ricans, they cannot vote in general elections despite being U.S. citizens, but they can exert a powerful influence with relatives on the mainland. Phones across the island of 30.2 million people were ringing minutes after the speaker derided the U.S. territory Sunday night, and they still buzzed on Monday. All 5 of them. Camel Toe is competing with Trump to win over Puerto Rican communities in Pennsylvania, other swing states. Shortly after the stand-up comic Tony Hinchcliffe said, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. I think it's called Puerto Rico, which even Republicans weren't laughing. They didn't find it very funny. He's like, I guess it was. That joke didn't quite land. Puerto Rican reggaeton superstar. What the hell is a reggaeton superstar? I'm just wondering. Bad Bunny, reggaeton superstar. What would that be? I don't see. I'm trying to think where reggae comes from. I want to say it's near Puerto Rico, but not quite in Puerto Rico. He was backing Harris. Well, have fun. Back Harris. I'm sure that she's got your back too, along with P. Diddy. Hinchcliffe also said lewd and racist comments about Latinos, Jews, black, and all constituencies of the election. Really? Did he really? I don't know, but AP can say anything because 90% of the people are Jamaican. No, not right there. No, that it's got to be Hispanic. Reggae has to be Hispanic. It can't be like some sort of French Creole thing. No. Oh my gosh. But the problem is most people never even listen. No, most people would never see the whole comedy spiel. Most people will not go and look at exactly what was said. or the context in which it was said, or his response, or the crowd's response. They'll never look at it, because why would you do that? It's just easier to talk trash about it. Serrano, 81, has a son who lives in Pennsylvania and said the entire family was outraged by the comedian's comments. The whole family, all 350,000 of them? Oh my gosh. He can't be talking about Puerto Rico like that. Yes, he can. Yeah, actually, he can. He can talk about anything that he wants to. Because unlike how Puerto Rico might believe things, we have this thing in the United States called freedom of speech. So it's a weird concept. I know our founding fathers might have made this shit up, that there's a thing called freedom of speech. And if you don't like what someone's saying, you turn the channel. If you don't like hearing what he has to say, oh, but it's inflaming people. How is it inflaming people? It's inflaming one group of people. I used to live in Louisiana. Oh, you serious? It's Jamaican? No. Reggaeton? No, that can't. No, it has to be Spanish. It's got its backing in Spanish. Totally. I'm telling you, man. Totally. Most Puerto Ricans here in the U.S. are children born here and never spent any significant time there. That's very true. I dated a girl from Puerto Rico. She was a lovely young lass. She enjoyed the fact that she could go back to her home country, Puerto Rico, and could buy emeralds and bring them back to the mainland United States and sell them for a little bit of profit. It's pretty cool. I was born in Minnesota. I was born in the United States. That's weird. I'm Native American. Those who stayed behind often say they feel like second-class citizens because they can't vote in presidential elections and receive limited federal funding compared with the United States. Yeah. Of course, they're festering with resentment. It erupted when Trump visited Puerto Rico after Hurricane Marie slammed into the islands, the powerful Category 4 in 2017. He tossed paper towels in the crowd, denied the storm's official death toll, with experts estimating that nearly 3,000 people died in the sweltering aftermath. So wait. What has the left done about North Carolina? I forget. What is it? A couple weeks later, they handed out $750 checks, right? Isn't that what they did? And if you weren't able to get your check, you could go online and get that. That's what happened. What? No, in 2017, he went there and he found that the Clintons had a lot to do with funding going there too. Oh no, that was Haiti. Sorry, wrong country. Yeah. What was it? What was going on in Puerto Rico at the time? What was it? Was in Puerto Rico? Oh, that's right. Election officials were doing some shady crap. Yeah. The politicians on that island were doing some really screwed up stuff with their people. Wasn't it AOC that was complaining about her grandmother, not her nana or mama or whatever she called her? Come to find out, it was bullshit. Yeah, she had a lot to say about it. Jose Achivio, a 48-year-old healthcare worker from San Juan, shook his head as he recalled the feelings that coursed through him when he watched that rally. What humiliation, what discrimination, he said early Monday as he waited to catch a public bus to work. Achivio said he immediately texted relatives in New York. Oh, well, wonderful. That's going to help you out. Including uncle who's a Republican and had planned to vote for Trump. Oh, but he's changing his mind now. Don't believe this BS. You know, we've found, like, every time they want to talk about how much support the Democrat Party is getting. It's amazing to me whenever you really start digging into it, and they start really digging into it, like the white dudes for Harris were all paid actors. Like every single one of them, they're paid actors. Most of them don't have kids. They don't even have wives because they swing for the same team. Just saying. That's what you're dealing with whenever you're dealing with this political stuff. It's weird. Weird. They talk about us being weird. They talk about the people on the right. Oh, they're so weird. You know how weird they are. This is how weird we are, huh? Trying to poop before. Tim Walz gives taxpayer money to nonprofit that hands out booty bumping kits to drug users. Taxpayer funded nonprofit tells drug users it never hurts to have a boofing buddy. Oh, yeah. You know what that was? Yeah, that's interesting. You think it's a parody, but it's not. Democrat Vice President nominee Tim Walz, who has described his... Here, I'll pull up the story for you. It's interesting, but it's true. I'm not doing that. There you go. It comes from the Washington Free Beacon. Right here. Try to poop before. Tim Walz gives taxpayer money to nonprofit hands out booty bumping kits to drug users. Democrat Vice President nominee Tim Walz, who has described his Republican opponents as weird, gave taxpayer money's funds to Minnesota governor to nonprofit that provides booty bumping kits for drug users to ingest drugs through the butthole. On May 14th, Walz announced $100 million in funding for 135 nonprofit organizations to provide vital services to homeless people. The money is supporting a number of services, including street outreach, shelter, and harm reduction for drug users, the Walz administration said. At Southside Harm Reduction Services, a Minneapolis-based nonprofit, turned in Walz's announcements. The harm reduction services included the provision of kits that contain syringes, sterile water, drug cookers, and the lube that allow users to ingest drugs through the rectum, or as we like to call it, your anus or butthole. The organization has touted the paraphernalia called booty bumping or boofing kits on social media posts and on its website as both a safer method to ingest some drugs and efficient way to get high. Druggies may booty bump because drugs reach the bloodstream quickly, allowing users to reach a high faster than some other routes of administration. Southside Harm Reduction says, try to poop before, so this is your drugs are absorbed better. Try to poop before because those drugs will come out much faster. Stand, squat, or lay on your side in a comfortable position. It never hurts to have a boofing buddy. No, these are things that they're putting out there. This is your VP candidate on the left. The Walz administration has given $3,104,365 to Southside Harm Reduction Services since 2020. For syringe exchange programs and other harm reduction initiatives, according to the state penny records, the Walz administration awarded $432,000 to Southside Harm Reduction Services in 2023 to provide low barrier access to harm reduction supplies. Southside Harm Reduction Services is able to give away booty bumping kits and other products thanks to a bill Walz championed in 2023 that expanded access to reduction services and made it legal for nonprofit organizations to give away drug paraphernalia. Jack Martin, the executive director of Southside Harm Reduction Services, called the bill a fantastic move in the right direction. The backside. Walz's support for the nonprofit group could provide Republicans another line of attack on the liberal Democrat, who became a darling of the Democrats this weekend after waving so happily as he jumped out on stage and said, "Hey, you guys, I know how to fire a pistol." After calling the vice presidential nominee J.D. Vance weird over his views on abortion and family structure, yeah, because, that's weird, like, normal. It's weird. In response, Republicans have given Walz the moniker Tampon Tim over a bill he signed that provides tampons to high schools, some of which have ended up in boys' bathrooms. Well, no, it's not the tampons that end up in there. It's the machines that dispense them. Why would you do that? Do they have jock itch cream in the female's bathroom? I guess they must. Organizations like Southside Harm Reduction Services, they emerged in recent years as part of a movement to provide drug users with the means to safely ingest hard drugs such as heroin, crack, methamphetamine, and the fentanyl. The movement has stoked some controversy because groups providing the harm reduction services often appear to condone, if not approve, certain risky drug practices. This is, oh my God. I don't know if I could show that. Oh my. What appears to be the case is Southside Harm Reduction Services promoting of slamming, a practice popular among some of the gays in that community, in which users inject drugs such as methamphetamine while having sex. If you like slamming, it makes a lot of sense to learn how to do it well. This section explains where to inject, the injecting process, the technique, and all of the equipment you will need, according to the brochure that Southside Harm Reduction Services links to on its website. The brochure's cover prominently displays a naked, muscular man holding a giant syringe. Yeah, I'm gonna hide that for a second just in case. Oh yeah, there you go. This is their ad for that. Yeah, this is their ad for that. How do you know the guy's gay? Maybe he's straight. He just wears the funky looking boots. I don't know. Like the Waltz administration, Biden-Harris administration has awarded grants to nonprofits that offer booty bumping kits. According to the federal spending database, usspending.gov, the administration has given $354,633 since 2021 to a Washington, D.C. nonprofit called HIPS to operate harm reduction vending machines in the nation's capital. The vending machines contain booty bumping kits, syringes, and other drug paraphernalia, according to City Journal. Walt's office and the Harris Waltz campaign did not respond to requests for comment. Southside Harm Reduction Services did not respond to a request for comment either. I wonder why. Yes, that is what they want to remind you of. Jay Leno headline about a spa coffee enemas for those who can't handle the flavor. The guy who has horse rumors encouraging. Yeah. Well, that is exactly what it is. That's speaking of those lethal injections, I think it's time for a little coffee break. I'll be back in just a few minutes, so hold your horses.
Sandy shores, get a tan, Rambo the orangutan. Driving a golf cart, oh man, Rambo is half crazy, yes he can. Well, that SOB's a sight to effing see. Oh, Rambo's rolling, as the sun he's free at last. While Shizzy has his coffee, these two are having an effing blast. Oh, Rambo's rolling, as the sun he's free at last. While Shizzy has his coffee, these two are having an effing blast. Shizzy on the dunes, coffee in hand, Rambo is a loon, and Shizzy is, well, that is too dirty to say here. Shizzy on the dunes, coffee in hand, Rambo is a loon, and Shizzy is a, that is too dirty to say here, Oh, Rambo's rolling, as the sun he's free at last. While Shizzy has his coffee, these two are having an effing blast. Otters in the surf, hummingbirds in the sky, Rambo honks the horn and spits in Shizzy's eye. Oh my! Oh, Rambo's rolling, as the sun he's free at last. While Shizzy has his coffee, these two are having an effing blast. Oh, Rambo's rolling. Rambo takes a turn, driving to the way. Otters wave their paws, telling Rambo, not sure, but if you could understand Otter, it probably wasn't nice. Rambo takes a turn, driving to the waves. Otters wave their paws, telling Rambo, not sure, but if you could understand, Otter, it probably wasn't nice. Oh, Rambo's rolling, 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 as the sun he's free at last. While Shizzy has his coffee, these two are having an epic blast. So here's to Rambo, otters and hummingbirds by the edge of the ocean. And Shizzy, well, he might just be there too. Well, here's to Rambo, otters and hummingbirds by the edge of the ocean. And Shizzy, well, he might just be there too.
Oh yeah, Rambo. Oh, I just saw this. This is very cool. No, needles do not require a prescription. You can buy insulin needles at most pharmacies without a prescription in California over the counter. You can also do that in Georgia. They do, because if you buy in quantity, you have to, usually they want to keep track of who's getting those. And also something to remember is if you save those insulin needles, you can turn those back in to them, which is a safe way of disposing those back to the pharmacy. You can get them at any size at your vet. Yes, you can. But I will tell you, if you go to a pharmacy, it's going to save you about 50%. About 50% from a pharmacy. It's much cheaper to get insulin needles at a pharmacy than it is from a veterinarian, because they mark that shit up drastically at a pharmacy. At a veterinarian. Ask me how I know, because we had a dog that had to have an injection twice every day. An insulin injection twice every day, and those things are freaking expensive, and they just sell the whole syringe thing for insulin. So it's much cheaper if you're doing it, buy it from a pharmacy, not from a vet. Check the prices, ask the vet how much it costs, and then go to a pharmacy for the same size and see what it costs. You'll probably find it's much cheaper by about 50%. They have a very small board designed for and I can't say that word, injection, but not intravenous. Correct. They're made for doing it. Pet supply stores like Tractor Supply sell all sorts of needles, and they are medical grade. That is true too. This might even be cheaper. I know, because we had to buy them in bulk. I think by the 1,000, so you get a whole box of them. But that would only last them like 90 days or some crap like that. They didn't last very long. Pretty interesting. No worries about possession charge. Yeah. I try to be sometimes a little bit more, I am right, but a little more towards the left. I'd say closer to the center. Yeah. Love you. I'm a 501c3. You get it cheap. Oh, that's awesome. 501c3. You get it cheap. That's very cool. I also had give it data. Yeah. We had a Yorkshire Terrier, which is strange because they don't normally get it, and also a male, which they don't normally have problems with like that. But for whatever reason, he started having problems, and I mean, every day, twice a day, you have to give him a little shot. My wife was a little hesitant about it at first. I was like, "Oh, this is nothing." I worked at a pet store. We had to, give shots to dogs all the time, like for parvo and every other thing, deworm them and crap like that. So I'll tell you what's a son of a buck, though, is to give a damn shot to a cat. That really sucks, because they have such tough skin. Like trying to get that needle through them. If you don't hit it right, you break that damn needle. That's really bad. If you use an insulin pen, the pen needles can cost more than the entire syringe. Yeah. Cat was no issue. Yeah. I worked with animals for quite some time, so lots of love for the animals. Watching animals come in and watching them go out, but it's always good. It's always good. Anyhow, so speaking of animals, we got Jeff Bezos defends Washington Post decision not to endorse as the right principled one. Sure, Bezos. What made that happen? That decision, it was announced Friday, has reported led to tens of thousands of people canceling their subscriptions and protests from journalists with a deep history at the newspaper. The Post editorial staff was prepared to endorse Camel Toe before publisher Will Lewis wrote instead that it would be better for readers to make up their own damn minds. Isn't that wild? Because newspapers should be unbiased on that. Bezos, in a note from our owner published Monday evening, said that editorial endorsements create a perception of bias. But yeah, like ABC, NBC, Fox News, all of those. Cool. That's really good to know. My wife just sent me a cool message. Makes me very happy. Puts a smile on my face and a tinkle in my toes. And that said that editorial endorsements create a perception of bias, of course. Ending them is a principled decision, and it is the right one, Bezos said. Bezos wrote that he wished the decision to end presidential endorsements had been done earlier in a moment further from the election and emotions around it that was inadequate planning and had some intentional, and oh no, there was intentional strategy behind everything that somebody does. Bezos' decision caused an unprecedented spasm of anger, both with journalism and outside of it. NPR reported on Monday that more than 200 people have canceled their subscriptions to the newspaper, citing two people at the paper with knowledge of internal matters. Yeah, in other words, people that want to say it. She told Shizzy he can buy more tech. No. It's pretty close. Pretty close to that, but much better. It's good news. Let's put it that way. Really good news. Something that something that goes back from last year. Let's put it that way. A loss of subscriptions in that magnitude would be a blow. Yeah, they like to blow on a storied news outlet that is already facing financial headwinds. Why would the Post have more than 2.5 million subscribers last year, the bulk of them digital, making it the third behind the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal in circulation? In the decision's wake, two of the newspaper's columnists quit, please do, and 3 of the 9 members of the editorial board resigned their posts. Thank you, as they should have. Because if you can't be an editor, you can't be non-biased, then you have no place working at a newspaper or a news organization. See, I'm not a newspaper or a news organization. I'm satire and political commentary. And 9 times out of 10, I don't have any freaking idea what I'm talking about. I'm a complete idiot. If you don't believe me, just look at my Chiron down there. You not notice that? What it says? It says brief water break. Be right back. Because I'm an idiot. There you go. The loss of subscriptions of that magnitude would be make them blow. In the decision's wake, all these people left. The Post decision came only days after the Los Angeles Times said it would not endorse a candidate, but we know which way they lean. Bezos insists fear of business retaliation wasn't a factor. Oh, there's critics of Bezos. Also, the owner of Amazon ordered the non-endorsement to protect his business interest. Yeah. Oh, he's acting out of fear of retaliation if Donald Trump were elected? No, they would never run and cower from Donald Trump. The Post endorsed Trump's Democrat rivals in 16 and 20 and have been doing it since well before Bezos was the owner. In his column, Bezos said people can see his wealth and business interests as one of 2 things: a bulwark against intimidation or a web of conflicting interests. He insists that his views are principled and that his track record as Post owner since 2013 backs that up. So that's why you let them lambast in 2016 and 2020 and 22, 17. Why you continue to post things, and also maybe why I'm trying to think, what was it that was being covered in 20, what was that in 2020? That something about a laptop. I'm pretty sure that you guys covered that, right? Oh no, that wasn't you that covered that, was it? That you had everybody like saying no, nothing's there, it's Russian disinformation. If I'm not mistaken, that's what was your stance. Wow. wasn't it the New York Times that supported a certain German artist? I wonder what the Post stance was on that. I think it was pretty close, wasn't it? He acknowledged that the chief executive officer of one of his companies, the space exploration outfit Blue Origin, met with Trump last week on the same day the non-endorsement was announced. I sighed when I found out because I knew it'd provide ammunition to those who would like to frame this as any other than a principled decision. But the fact is, I don't know about the meeting beforehand. Okay. He said that while he doesn't and won't push his own personal interests, he wouldn't allow the Post to stay on autopilot and fade into irrelevance, because that's what they're doing. These businesses that want to throw shade on people or spread lies and disinformation should be shut down. Absolutely. Absolutely should be shut down. But there's also this: how to repair your body and mind for the end of daylight savings time. It's pretty easy. Eliminate it. Pick one. Stick with it. Stop having this crap happen. It's nonsensical. You don't need it. The good news is you'll get a glorious extra hour of sleep. No, I get the same amount of sleep every damn time. I don't get an extra hour. If I want an extra hour, I just sleep an extra hour. I can only sleep so long. Good to see you, Mayor Dan. He says it's been a crazy busy October. Setting up your Halloween display and working at the haunted house. Thought I would jump in and say hi. Good to see you, Mayor Dan. And that we had a great time on Friday Night Live, having you stop by and sharing with us what you could of your haunted house. I hope that people, if you're in Mayor Dan's area, he's got the longest running haunted house in that area. You should go check it out if you're there. It is going to be so much fun for you. So much fun. They got a whole crew of actors there, and they have so much fun. If you want to, let me see if I can do that really quick. If you want to, I will do this really quick. Let me find it here. I'm going to see what I'm going to do is I want to make you a temporary mod there, Mayor Dan. So I want you to do me a favor. Add as a moderator, standard moderator. There you go. What I want you to do, Mayor Dan, you have access to do this now. I want you to post a link to where people can go find out more information if they're in your area about your haunted house. Go for it. Give it some love. Send them the link where people, if they're in the Ohio area, they can go to one of the best haunted houses. He's got 3 floors of pure terror, spookiness, and scariness. I want you to be able to promote that stuff out there, Mayor Dan. So if you want to send people a link to that, you're welcome to. Anybody that's in that area is welcome to go check it out. And go check out Mayor Dan's. Go in and stop by and say hi. You can find him. You can find him. You just look for the creepy guy. 7 floors total. Sorry, 7 floors total. 7 floors total. You can go find this guy right here. Just look for Carl. You'll find Carl. Oh, he might even give the kids a sticker. But yeah, you have the ability to post a link in there for your where people can go to if they're in that area. They're going to have a blast. They're going to have a blast. If it's anything like I saw on Friday Night Live, it's going to be awesome. But go for it. That springtime change to be tougher for your body. Darker mornings, lighter evenings can knock your internal body clock out of whack, making it harder to fall asleep on time for weeks or longer. Then we need to just stop this whole nonsense. He's the one with the scissors stuck in his forehead. Maybe that day he does. You never know what he has. It'll be awesome. Fall back should be easier, but it may take a while to adjust your sleep habits. Not me. I go to sleep. I sleep the same amount every damn day. I can't sleep more than a certain amount. It's awful. It sucks. Some health groups, including the American Medical Association, the American Academy of Sleep Medicine, said it's time to do away with time switches. Yeah, I've been saying that for the past 30 years, at least. Like, stop the time changes. I don't care. I don't care. that sticking with standard time aligns better with the sun and human biology. No, actually, what really helps is making time correct. Make time correct, and then you don't have to worry about any time changes. Then the days all are the same. Most countries do not observe daylight savings time. For those who do, mostly in Europe and North America, the date the clocks are changing varies. Oh, 2 states, Arizona, Hawaii, don't change and stay on standard time. Here's what to know about the twice yearly ritual. Don't care. Don't care. And that's the beauty of it. I don't care. Just eliminate it, and then I don't have to worry about it. Yep, there we go. And go check it out. That is exactly where you can go. If you're in that area, go check that out. Click on that link. I'm going to pin that bad boy up there in the top. So we have that for you guys, so you can go check that out. Yes. Let's see. Looking. Let me scroll down a little bit here. There it is. And we're going to pin that up for you guys. That is where you can go find Mayor Dan's Haunted House. I hope that you guys get some folks coming in there and that are in that Ohio area. It's going to be a blast, and you probably can come into it from surrounding states and go visit them also. So go check it out. It's going to be a wild time. It's going to be a wild time. Oh yes. Well, let's see. We'll get rid of that one because we already talked about that. Uh-oh. This is scary. People are opting out for organ donation programs after reports of a man mistakenly declared deceased. Washington, transplants experts are seeing a spike in people revoking organ donor registrations. Their confidence shaken by reports that organs were nearly retrieved from a Kentucky man mistakenly declared deceased. It happened in 21. While details are murky, surgery was avoided and the man is still alive, but donor registries in the U.S. and even across the Atlantic are being impacted after the case was publicized recently. Well, yeah, that's what happens. A drop in donations could cost the lives of people waiting a transplant. Well, all the more reason why they do horrible things too. Hey, no problem, brother. I got you back. Hey, we don't worry about these things. We're easygoing here. We try to be at least easygoing. It's not, nothing wrong with showing a little bit of love to people that show you love back. A drop in donations could cost the lives of people waiting a transplant. Organ donation is based on public trust, said Dory Dales, president of the Association of Organ Procurement Organizations, or OPOs. When eroded, it takes years to regain. I mean, they did have a problem with what was his name? Oh, wasn't it Fauci, and something to do with the AIDS things? Yeah. They were trying to provide some sort of aid, and they found that it was in people that were donating blood. Yeah, they changed a lot of the procedures for that because people were just like, I don't think I want to get blood this year. I may not want to find out. Oh my gosh, it's so crazy. Only doctors caring for patients can determine if they're deceased. The law blocks anyone involved with organ donation or transplant, of course. Well, I would think that not only doctors caring for their patients should be able to determine that. I think the person that's being operated on should be able to determine that also. Of course, you do have a limited time on certain organs before the body starts to do like funky things, and you don't want that to happen. The key is ensuring all doctors are doing the right tests and doing them well, said Dr. Daniel Solmassi, a Georgetown University bioethicist. The alleged near miss in Kentucky, the 21 case, came to light in a congressional hearing last month with unconfirmed details and later media reports, allegations that a man who had been declared dead days earlier woke up on the way to the operating room for organ donation surgery, and there was an initial reluctance to realize it. The federal agency that regulates the U.S. transplant system is investigating, and the Kentucky Attorney General office said this is reviewing the facts to identify an appropriate response. How about not removing the organ? A coalition of OPOs and other donation groups is urging that the findings be made public quickly and the public withhold judgment until then, saying any deviation from the industry's strict standards would be entirely unacceptable. Well, apparently you didn't have very strict standards if someone just about was deleted because you wanted to cut them up and chop them into little bits. Mayor Dan, can I get some French fried taters? Oh my gosh. What is it? Yeah, I don't care. Either way, it's good for me. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Oh my gosh. You guys are crazy. You guys are so crazy. Way back when you're growing up in northern Indiana, time didn't change, but southern Indiana did. That is true. That is true. That there was a time in Indiana that they didn't do a time change. There would have been, what, 80s? I think 80s or 90s, somewhere around in there. Might have even been like in the 70s. Your old man, 101 82nd, both Gulf Wars, Panama, Somalia, and others. Oh, man. That's awesome. That's awesome. He was joking, and it was satirical. Yeah, of course. It's always joking. It's always satirical. I don't know what the hell people are getting all worked up over. Dill's own Oregon agency, Gift of Life Michigan, usually gets 5 to 10 calls a week from people asking how to remove themselves from the state's list. In the last week, her staff handled 57 such calls mentioning the Kentucky case. Well, those are people that might be a little bit concerned. They might be young, they might be healthy, and they're just like, I don't know about this. We have military banners here, so soon after your daughter graduates from boot camp, you can have her banner made and put up. That is wonderful. Let's see. The paralytic in anesthesia doesn't wear off after surgeries for me for days. Sometimes I've woken up after surgery, but been locked inside your body. It's terrifying. Oh, that's crazy. That would be terrifying. Then you can get a cold beer and wash those fries down. There you go. I'll be over to sharpen this blade. If you ever watched Black Hawk Down, he was on the second chapter. Oh, that's... Oh, okay. Okay. Very, very interesting. Well, thanks for his service. Arizona doesn't do time change, but the reservations have to because they're federally regulated. That's weird, isn't it? You would think that they would have freedom and not be regulated by the feds. The Kentucky allegations reverberated in France. Why would France be worried about what happens in the United States? Unlike the voluntary U.S. donation system, French law presumes all citizens and residents will be organ and tissue donors upon death unless they clearly opt out. Ooh, I should tell that to my mother-in-law. I bet she doesn't know that. Oh my gosh. Dr. Regis Bonchard, an agency deputy director, said the spike reflects anxiety, incomprehension among the general public that could have catastrophic consequences. How could it have catastrophic consequences? Sometimes when it's your time, it's your time. Mayor Dan, I'm sold. Mustard on them rise. Oh yeah. What's supposed to happen after death and before organ donation? Well, doctors can declare 2 types of death. One is dead, and the other one is dead. What's called cardiac death occurs when the heart stops beating, the breathing stops, and they can't be restored. Brain death is declared when the entire brain permanently ceases function, usually after a major traumatic injury or stroke. Ventilators and other machines keep the heart beating during special testing to tell. I'm sorry. Only 1% of deaths occur in a way that allows someone to become an organ donor. Most people declared dead in a hospital will quickly be transferred to a funeral home or a morgue, but most organ donations are from brain dead donors. Only after that declaration does the donor agency assume responsibility for the deceased, looking for potential recipients and rescheduling a retrieval surgery, which typically nurses at the hospital where the person died continue to care to ensure equipment properly maintains the organs until they're collected. What if something goes wrong? Always can happen. Stricter criteria. But I thought they said that they had very strict standards already. But they're saying stricter criteria could assure the public that we have done enormous due diligence before we determine that somebody is no longer living, he said. It could help to get people to stop ripping up their organ donor cards. Yeah, usually once you're on that registration, it's put across the United States, anywhere that you're at. It's in the data system. That's one of the reasons why they formed the internet in the first place, was for doctors to be able to communicate back and forth, as well as the Department of Defense. So that way you had everybody was sort of working off the same assumptions. So, if you were, for example, living in New York, you took a trip out to Oregon, that if something happened to you and you couldn't speak or something like that, and they could pull up your medical records just by figuring out who you were. They pull up your driver's license, say, oh, look, this person's an organ donor. It's much easier than the organs that they get from, Planned Parenthood. Yeah, I said it. What are you going to do about it? And two stories that made me laugh this morning is this right here. Conservatives could win control of Kansas and Nebraska state school boards. That's so cool. Topeka, Kansas. Conservatives could capture majorities in Kansas, Nebraska state school boards this year's elections, making it easier for them to shape what's taught in these classrooms. Imagine what they're trying to teach these kids in their classrooms, like reading, writing, arithmetic. Oh my gosh. So what is it? What is it that we strayed from? Did we change it? Yeah, it's on driver's license in most states. Yeah, I mean, I have organ donor card on my driver's license. That's what you do whenever you ride a motorcycle. It's just like, yeah, I'm not going to need it if I get in a car accident. Just saying. At issue are the familiar efforts by conservative Republicans. Well, just no, there's an issue that's very familiar with Americans. Okay. This has nothing to do with Republicans or Democrats. This is all Americans have this. Nobody wants my organs. Well, I got an organ my wife, she wants to keep, but conservative Republicans and groups to limit what public kindergarten through 12 schools can teach about. There is what the problem. This is not a Republican issue. This is an American issue. So I'm going to read this as they should have written it, because there was something I saw today, and it came across in my news feed. It said that the AP is trying to, what was it? It says it has the most unbiased news reporting. That's what they were trying to tell us, is they have the unbiased news reporting. But the way that they write this is so biased, it makes you scratch your head. At issue are familiar efforts by Americans and groups, Americans, to limit what public schools can teach children about racism, diversity, sexuality, gender, but also up for debate are skill building lessons that Americans reject. It's called social engineering. In an effort to teach these, they call it soft skills or social engineering, such as persistent tolerance for others and managing emotions, or as we like to say, social manipulation, came after surveys in recent years suggesting that businesses see them as crucial for future employees. Social engineering. But some parents, state lawmakers, Americans, they call it social and emotional learning, or SEL, as un-American. We want to turn the direction away from social engineering and back towards education, where it should be, said Frank, a retired computer systems manager and a candidate for Kansas City area on that board. American parents across the United States who've wanted to remove books and other materials from children not allowing them to read certain things because it would be inappropriate for their age. I mean, growing up, we had like the Playboy, the Penthouse, and whatever other dirty magazines that Daddy might have been hiding in his closet somewhere. That was like, ooh, look, movies. You didn't even know what the rest of it was or what to do with it. You were just like, oh, look, that's really cool. They're missing something, but they have extra two somethings. What in the hell is that? There's a reason why, as Americans, we've tried to remove these kinds of things from children, because you don't need children having their minds corrupted by social engineering. They call these woke concepts, we call them communisms. They want to be removed from the classroom. This diversity, equity, inclusion bullshit needs to go away. I'm writing this for you, AB, because apparently you don't know how to write. And these are for what they call critical race theory. Don't know why it's so critical, but all I've seen is that it's made people separate and segregated people and turned them against American, which centers on the idea that the U.S. is racist. That's why people might want to get rid of it, because it's not true. Both states, well, they just happen to lean Republican, and they help those conservative candidates down the ballot in those November 5th election. In Nebraska, state board races, which are very slow because they, creep along like turtles. They can't run very fast, but they're pretty steady. Could prove officially nonpartisan, but in Kansas, their partisan party affiliation could prove decisive. No. Now you're talking. I'm worried people don't have this on their radar, said Judith Deedy, an executive director of the pro public education Game On for Kansas schools. If the board flips, there will be a lot of unhappy people. Like who? You mean get back to teaching kids like the basics? Just how many people here can balance a checkbook? How many people know what a checkbook is? Saying. The Kansas State Board of Education is perhaps best known for debates 2 decades ago over whether evolution should be taught in school. Okay. The state had 5 sets of science standards for its K through 12 schools between 1999 and 2007, as the board's majority repeatedly changed hands because they kept getting fired. The Roz is here, man. The Roz. I didn't know, but I suspected something was up. Conservatives won control in 2004, rewrote standards about teaching in schools to reflect doubt about the well-established scientific theory. I mean, is it? It's just a theory. See, that's where they really throw this out to you. They say it's a well-established scientific theory, but that's all it is a theory. It's well-established theory, but it's still a theory. I mean, I'm just curious at what point, because in the theory of evolution, which I agree does exist, but in that theory of evolution, they're saying that man came from monkeys. So why aren't we seeing more men come from monkeys nowadays? I mean, I'm sure there's a few gay men that might be coming from monkeys, as they have the monkeypox, but I'm just saying, as an overall, why aren't we seeing like human children being born from apes? Why isn't that happening today? I mean, if your theory, of course it is a theory, doesn't mean that it's true, it just means that it's a theory. If your theory were true in the past, I don't know, since that theory came out, was the 1800s, 1700s, something like that, that theory of evolution came about. Why haven't we seen more humans being born from monkeys? I'm just curious. I mean, you would think with all the monkeys in the world and all the apes in the world, why haven't we seen more human children being born, or like Neanderthal, anything like that? Why haven't we seen it? What happened? Did I miss something? I'm pretty sure I missed something. I'm just it's really hard for me to explain this one away. I mean, but see, this is the problem whenever you have schools that don't teach you proper science, where they teach you the theory behind it, but then that theory is never proven. After how many decades, they still haven't proven it right. And as JW says, Darwin has proven his theory false as written. I mean, there are people that do win the Darwin Awards. That is true. We all see lizard people in DC. That's true. You got to have the right glasses for it, though. Evolution may not be a thing, but as far as I can tell, de-evolution is definitely happening. Have you had an interaction with teenagers recently? Yes, I have. Yes, I have. There is. You'd be surprised how learning happens with the teenagers. Now I understand why my elders sort of sat back and shook their head at a lot of the shit that I said and do. And still to this day sit there and shake their head and go, oh my God. And to leave room for arguments that the universe complexity points to an intelligent design. In 2006, a moderate bloc captured control and quickly returned to standards grounded in science. The latest standards were adopted last year. That kind of topic could come back. I don't know that the board would have tremendous success in getting it through as policy, but I think it can be really disruptive to education in Kansas. Nebraska's board is split 4-3 against hard rat Republicans with one vacancy. Okay, so they're just talking about flipping and all that kind of stuff. Let's get on back on track here. Oh, that's what it is. The workforce needs that we have in our states are folks need to be able to read. They need to have strong math skills as well. And that's where it comes down. That's what it boils down to. You've got your core reading, writing, and arithmetic. They've moved so far away from it that now it's become more common core, socially acceptable, that you have to trust people's pronouns or something like that, which I don't understand any of that. I don't understand any of it. It makes me very confused. And there's nothing like confusing me, because that's pretty easy to do. All you have to do is throw a ball in the middle of the street, and I guarantee I'll probably run out after it. I don't care. But, in the midst of all this DEI stuff, you have members of Congress. They call on companies to retain those programs as court cases grind on. Why are court cases grinding on about this? That's the bad part about it. Don't grind on court cases. Grind on organs. Become an organ grinder. Damn it. New York, a group of Democrats in Congress appealed to the largest U.S. companies Tuesday to hold on to those diversity and equity and inclusion programs, saying such efforts give everyone a fair chance at achieving the American dream. No, it doesn't. If everyone wants to have a fair chance at achieving the American dream, stop segregating us into groups. Stop calling us Arab Americans, Black Americans, Chinese Americans, Indian Americans, and all this other crap. Get rid of the pronouns. Or whatever the fuck you want to call it. I guess that's what pronouns are. Maybe? I don't know. Get rid of it. Get rid of the hyphenated American. Become Americans. You get rid of that, you don't have to have this DEI shit. It goes away. 49 House members, led by Robert Garcia of California, goes to show, shared their views in a letter emailed to the leaders of the Fortune 1000. The move follows several major corporations saying in recent months that they would end or curtail those diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. Why? Because they're racist, they're misogynistic, they're everything that the left hates so much. I say just get back in the kitchen, make me a damn sandwich, and we'll be happy. I was just talking to my wife. Sorry. No, I'm kidding. God, idiots. Inclusion is a core American value and a great business practice. The lawmakers wrote by embracing this value. You create safer and fairer workplaces without sacrificing quality or financial success, which is a lie. It is absolutely a lie. You know why it is such a lie? I worked in a shop, okay? I was a mechanic, and they started bringing that shit in. Oh yeah. Yeah, they wanted to bring that in. You know what 90% of everybody was saying? Oh, yeah, the 90% were the people that actually work in the shop. They're just like, fuck off. You're costing me money being here. You know how, if you've ever worked at a shop, you understand that you get paid by billable hours. You know how you understand that if you're like in certain lines of work. The way that it works is if it takes you 6 hours to replace a motor, you do it in 3. You get paid 6 hours for replacing a motor. And then you do that multiple times over and over throughout the day. But whenever you have to sit down for a 2-hour meeting of diversity, equity, inclusion, because they want to tell you something that you really don't care about, because you're just like, wait a second. About the only thing diverse here is we have people that are smarter than others. That's diversity. Inclusion means that anybody can come here and work. Doesn't matter what color you are, what religion you are. Doesn't matter how much schooling you have. It doesn't even matter if you're male or female. You know, the two genders. Does not matter. Does not matter what you are, who you are. You can come here, apply for a job. You can come to work. If you do good work, you stay. If you don't do good work, then you go. There's your inclusion. Diverse, don't care. Don't care what race, religion, whatever. None of that matters. Do you work well with others, or are you an asshole? If you're an asshole, well, then you're probably going to be excluded from everything. But that's where, they want to have that inclusion. No, you're included in the conversation, but if you want to come in here and be an ass, we're just going to kick you the hell on down the road. So, what point were they making? Their point that they were making was, this is good money. Do you know how much they had to pay these people to come in? You know how much these people were making to come in just for one 2-hour session? In the tens of thousands of dollars. This is what they were making. Yeah, every year. Tens of thousands of dollars to come in, every 3 months or some crap like that. And it was always the same damn thing. And I usually would just say, I'm not showing up. They say, well, it's mandatory. I said, well, there you go. I've got work to do. Well, they'll pay you for it. They're not paying me enough for it. I'd refuse to go. I got paid by how much I was working on. Sissy, do you work on late model or new? Depends. I was working on Hondas for quite some time. I worked on everything from, the 90s all the way up to 2019s. Yeah, that's when the 2019s were the last I worked on. And those were garbage. The 2019s were such garbage. They were having problems with the electrical systems. So much fun. I hated ripping those things out. Time to get moving. You have a wonderful day, Mayor Dan. And hopefully you get some people showing up to your haunted house there. That'll be awesome. And the link up there to where it's at is up and pinned in the chat. Make sure if you're in the neighborhood, go stop by and say hi to Mayor Dan. Show him you love him. However, started the whole tolerance messages in the 90s in high schools. Yeah, I remember that where there was what was it, that it was some elective that they told me I had to take. It was it was one of those where they give them an egg and tell them to carry it around or some crap like that. Oh my God, I was sitting in that class. I get booted from that class because the teacher kept talking about guys being pieces of shit. seriously, it was like, what the hell are you talking about? It was like, men are horrible. They do horrible things to women and blah, 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 blah. And these are the guys you have to look out for. I was like, I am none of that. And you can kiss my ass. I was like, why are you so hateful towards men? I come to find out she swung for the same team. So I was like, oh, you view men as as competition for the ass you're trying to hit. That's what it is. Well, she didn't like that. I'm so bad. Catching up, taking too long. Love it, getting it fixed. Handful of companies, including Ford, Harley Davidson, John Deere, Lowe's, and Molson Coors, dialed back those initiatives over the summer. Those retreats came in the wake of the U.S. Supreme Court outlawing affirmative action, which is, in itself, goes against everything about civil rights. In college admissions, after targeted Americans went after brands that were supporting this crap over those DEI policies and programs. DEI policies typically are intended as a counterweight. Yeah, you know what else that you use counterweights for? Just ask some of the people in the bottom of Lake Michigan what they use counterweights for. Just saying. Discriminatory practices, but they're discriminatory in practice. That's why the Supreme Court has said no. Critics argue that education, government, and business programs which single out participants based on factors such as race are unfair, and the same opportunities should be afforded to everyone. They are. That's the thing. You got to understand, in society, there is no discrimination. In a lawful society, there's no discrimination. Now, I discriminate quite often. I don't like asparagus. I'm very discriminatory on it. You put asparagus on my plate, it better not be there. It better have lots of butter, sugar, and maybe on my wife's plate. I don't know. I don't like certain foods. You try giving a little bit of food to fall storm, that might be of the green leafy kind. You might find it on the floor. Just saying. Geez. Anyhow, they create toxic environments. They divide people. Toxic environments divide people. No, I think people divide people of their own volition. Cabbage. God. Director of Constitutional Studies at the Manhattan Institute said of diversity, inclusion, equity initiatives. Yes, those do divide people. Opponents had several legislative and legal victories, and dozens more cases are working their way through courts. These efforts to roll back rights are happening everywhere. That's not a right. Diversity, equity, inclusion are not rights. No matter how hard you try, those are not rights. That's taking away the freedom of others and giving it to others. That's what those are. Those programs are nothing more than to do that. You sold your Volvo and you're currently driving your mom's hybrid Prius. I've filled it up 3 times in a year. Runs really good too. Yeah, just wait until that battery goes to shit. It'll cost more than the car. Thankfully, your car will be paid off finally next year. Mine got paid off, let's see, 4 years ago. I think it was 4 years or 5 years ago. It was paid off. Something like that. I forget. It's been so long since it's been paid off. And I'll never do another car payment plan again, ever. I'm paying cash for my next car. That's what I've been saving up for. New car. These efforts to roll back rights are happening everywhere. They're happening at the workplace. They're happening at state legislatures. Garcia told Associated Press, it needs to stop. We got to push back and be vocal. We can't just sit by and allow us to take away the money cranking machine. They can't let us roll these things back. We have to fight back. We have to keep that diversity, equity, inclusion. We have to keep people separated, and it makes us a lot of fucking money. The lawmaker's letter states that growing number of Americans spend their money with businesses that do not care about inclusion. They don't care. If you have to have one, if this is one of your core things, then go for it. If that's what you believe has to happen, you think about this. You go, do you want to have the best product made, or do you want to have a product that's made by a certain group or gender? If that's where you want to be, and you think that because a certain gender or a certain group or a certain color making your product is better than the other one, then go for it. But if that's your standard, if your standard is not quality, it's over who, what somebody does in their bedroom, that's on you. Go for it. Have fun at it. Me personally, I don't care. Good morning. And also, I just want to say thank you very much for the $5 super chat cash app. That was very kind of you. Yes, I do see your messages. I couldn't even respond to your cash app message. Thank you though very much, Bulldog. Love it. Thank you. Bought an 82 Toyota Celica with 4 totals on the Savage tire. Paid $600. Drove it 10 years. And sold it for $800. I bought a 1990 Toyota Celica with a blown motor for $400. I put a new motor in it for $400 and sold it for $2,500. Yeah, that was pretty cool. On a Jeep Grand Cherokee. They have issues with the electrical systems, but yeah, go for it. Probably could be a good one now. I don't know. I worked on the older Jeep Grand Cherokees. I think it was like the 90s models. They had a problem with the main computer. Little box sits up underneath inside the bulkhead of the car, and we had problems with those. I remember opening one of those up. You can cut them open, and cutting through the plastic membrane, and you peel it back, and you'd find where the solder points had burned through, because they had all kinds of issues with those. I mean, you could solder those back up and then reseal them back and put them back together. 78 Honda Civic. The only problem with the 78 Honda Civic is the design on the carburetors were really, really shitty, and they would cause them to vapor lock. But you can transfer those over to get them electronically fuel injected, and it'd be much better. Taught your son to drive a standard with that car. Hell yeah. Electric system in Jeep Grand Cherokee was awful. Yeah. I don't know if they've gotten any better. I'd hope they have over the years. But yeah, those things were garbage. 76 Toyota Celica GT hatchback. Yeah, I think was it a 90? Yeah, was it 90 or was it 80, 86? I've owned so many cars. My favorite was a 73 Plymouth Satellite I had. Battery kept going dead on it. Found out it was the Ultimate. It was a gauge. There was a short in the gauge. Like every time I would turn, the needle would go this way. And come to find out, it was actually draining the battery. I replaced that, and never had a problem with it. I went through like 3 batteries and an alternator before I figured out what the problem was. It would do a slow drain on it. Alternator. Yeah, I can't remember what the fuck it was. Not the alternator. Had an 85 Celica, bought for $500, spent $500 to fix the engine. I replaced the engine on mine. Like I did a whole engine swap. I bought a Japanese model engine. So the Japanese model has a 1.4 engine in it or something like that. And or it was a 1.5, and then the American model had a 1.6 or something similar to that. Almost the same exact motor, almost identical. But all you had to do is just swap out the injectors, and it would run just fine. That little car was fast as hell too. I put a new clutch in it too, I think, at one point. Yeah, I put a new clutch in it whenever I was replacing the engine on it. That was a pretty interesting way. Yeah, those things are fun little cars. Continual progress towards more equal policies and benefits decreases the risk that anyone, employees, and consumers will experience discrimination. But is it discrimination in itself? The letter comes on the heels of the U.S. Equal Opportunity Opportunity Commission announcing that it filed 110 lawsuits in the past year alleging that employers sexually harass teenagers, discriminate against workers based on I see what this is. That because teenagers were saying they wanted to be called by their proper pronouns. That's what it is. So it's all about the, like I said, it's all about the money. Lawsuits represent a small fraction of the companies lodged with the EEOC. The agency received more than 81,000 charges of workplace discrimination in fiscal year 23, which was 10% increase over 2022. Why? Because now they have diversity, equity, inclusion. 65 Firebird. V8 never lost a race. But you didn't run into a Hemi then. Just saying. Those Hemis would knock the socks off of the 65 Firebird. 65 Firebird was a pretty cool car, though. It was basically the same thing as a Camaro, just a little bit of a different design. It's pretty cool. All your friends growing up were liberals. Wild child. Yeah, that's damn right. For every complaint, the EEOC notified the employer and launched an investigation. Many involved allegations of racial harassment or religious discrimination, Burrow said. Most people don't even report internally, much less to the federal government when they experience discrimination. So unfortunately, it's the tip of the iceberg. Well, here's the thing. This is why you got to get rid of all this crap that mislabels stuff in the wrong damn way. She and other commissioners strongly support DEI. And because in so many ways, this is antidote to the kinds of practices that lead us to have to go to court. No, it creates more court problems. Kids and pronouns is social contagions reaching maximum velocity now and will be over soon. We can only hope. First ever car was a 68 Mercury Cougar. I wish I'd never sold it. Of course, that was way back in the 70s. My favorite car was the 69 Cougar convertible. I love the way that thing sit. The 69 convertible. Oh, just had that low profile, big fat front end. That was my dream car growing up. That was the car I wanted to have. It had the yellow with the black racing stripes. Oh, but that thing was a rust bucket. Man, that thing was a rust bucket. That's what happens in Illinois. The Manhattan Institute, Shapiro counters that DEI programs have little to do with civil rights law. It has nothing to do with civil rights law. The pushback against, not a pushback against discrimination laws or anything that existed really before 10 years or so. DEI is divisive. It views people and issues through a lens of identity, classifies people based on privilege hierarchies and intersectional matriarchies. It is anti-ethical to produce a working environment. Meanwhile, lawsuits are claiming reverse discrimination. Stop with the shit. The U.S. Supreme Court recently decided it would hear a lawsuit filed by Marlon Ames, who claimed she was discriminated against at her job at the Ohio Department of Youth Services because she was straight. You think? It's a case that people are expecting will open the courthouse doors to more reverse discrimination suits. Yes. Like I said, this is bad policy. Stop with this shit. Get over it. Yes, you would be denied a job. Go get a job fucking somewhere else. If that job means that much to you because you want to be in that kind of working environment, let them freaking burn. Just let them burn themselves into the fucking oblivion. Jesus Christ. First discrimination. Go suck my balls. Sorry. It pisses me off whenever you hear this shit. Reverse discrimination. Just go elsewhere. Go get a job somewhere else. Let these companies that have all their diversity, equity, inclusion, just let them continue with their shit. You'll see how fast those companies destroy and burn up from inside. They just go away. Because do you want to work at a place that hires you, pays you good money, and that you put out a good product? Or do you want to work at a place that hires the least common denominator because they base it on what sex orientation you might be? What company do you want to work for? If you're wondering why you can't find any employees, well, tell me, do you want a pilot that actually, went through all of the schooling, learned how to get their pilot's license, and actually is a really good pilot? They're top of their class and they get paid a decent amount of money? Or do you want to hire someone because, well, they just happen to be a woman, or because they happen to be black, or because they happen to be gay? Do you really care what color, what race, what religion, what sexual identity of the person flying your plane from point A to point B is, if they're doing a good job? But I guarantee you, if it's all about their race, color, identity, gender, the qualified pilot gets passed up and those planes start falling out of the sky or they start crashing, I guarantee you your shit gets changed really quick. Whenever people see that there's these kinds of companies out there, do you think they're really concerned with it at all? Do you think that they're going to want to fly for your on your airline if you're more concerned with hiring the person because of their race, color, creed, religion, all that kind of shit? Or are you going to be more concerned with the ones that says we hire the best pilots? We don't care who you are. We hire the best of the best. Sorry. It was for other women. Women are the problem. Damn right. The Supreme Court is interested in that case, signals some potential that they're going to lower the bar. We already see a really massive uptick in the reverse discrimination cases. Go figure. Groups such as American Alliance for Equal Rights has pushed back on affirmative action policies at universities and diversity, equity, inclusion policies run by corporations. Recently, the Atlanta-based Fearless Fund has had to shut down a grant contest for black women business owners as part of a settlement with the American Alliance for Equal Rights, which argued the race-based programs should be open to everyone regardless of race. Yeah. There's been such intense focus on all risk emanating from the anti-diversity, equity, and inclusion side. But do not worry. Sometimes that organizations may be overcorrecting for that or worrying a little too much about that at the expense on the other side of the equation. And she's become a mama bear. A woman releases a woman until she has offspring. Don't discriminate, but especially women. Oh, I do discriminate on women. Like drastically. I'm like the most discriminatory. Because I guarantee you, I am not having sex with anything but women, so I'm very discriminatory. So you have to actually be a woman. You have to have woman. Sorry, just saying that's all that's going to gather my attention. I'm very discriminatory. Very, very discriminatory. I am only having sex with women. Like, that's it. Nope, sorry. Don't care what you're wanting to call your pronouns or what you want to call yourself, because I definitely know what a woman is. No. Those fake women are not women. Nope, not even plastic. I'm not into that either. It's got to be all natural. I mean, there's nothing wrong with getting a little bit of work done. It's beautiful to look at, but I prefer all natural. But speaking of this diversity, equity, and inclusion, you have this right here. Black male teachers are a rarity in preschools. This pioneering program wants to change that. Huh? I hate this shit. 19-year-old Johnson found himself in a preschool classroom at Dorothy Elementary. He was a senior in nearby high school who, like many students his age, was unsure of what he wanted to do with his life. Not in his wildest dreams could he have imagined standing on a colorful carpet, leading a gaggle of 4-year-olds in a chant and dance about phonics. Well, that explains quite a lot right there. Johnson, are recruiting right out of high school after interview process, intensive summer training. They work in schools where they may be the only male educators. Fellows make between $16, $50, and $18 an hour. Oh my God. Researchers have shown that black male students encounter discrimination before they even set foot in a kindergarten classroom. Okay. Maybe because that's a little weird. This later research found students that are of a certain ethnicity are less likely to drop out of high school and more likely to attend college. Really? Why could it possibly be that maybe there's a father figure there? Maybe, you think? Maybe it has nothing to do with who he is or what color he is. Maybe it's the fact that he's a man and he's stepping into that father role. Really, really weird, huh? Maybe it's not that we need more men in schools. Maybe it's we need more men not in jail. Weird, huh? I mean, it's a logical thought. You look at it at its conclusion. It's like the left is trying to put a Band-Aid on this bleeding wound that they started in society. Saying, well, we got to do this, we got to do that. How about we get back to, men being men, women being women, and, men playing a role in their child's life as a man. But in so many of these communities, we're locking young men up. You're teaching them bad habits, teaching them that they're discriminated on because of the color of their skin, not because of their character. And then you discriminate them based on the color of their skin. If you stop doing this and you get back to the core values of humans. Yeah, humans can be cruel people, but they can also be caring and loving. I mean, I see it all the time in the chats, so you get people that come in here and they act a fool, chat, lambast them, then they behave. They come back and they start behaving. It's really odd how that works. Schools have failed many. Yeah, schools have failed many, but society as a whole has been failing these young men. They've taken young men and turned them into young women. Whenever you do that, what do you expect is going to happen? Do you think you're going to see society succeed? You want to see the best social experiment? How about this? Find yourself an island and take a whole bunch of transgender men and a bunch of men, put them on an island and watch how long that society stays around. Do that for about 50 years. Come back after 50 years and see how long that society has lasted. Now, if you want to take some females and some males and put them on an island and see how long they go, 50 years later, you're going to find that population has grown. It's weird how that works. Your husband is in education law. Trust me, don't send your kids to public school. It's scary out there. Yeah, I can imagine so. When you start pushing for an inorganic group to become educators, you introduce a greater possibility for children to fall victim to all sorts of situations in the classroom. Yeah, you don't, and if you took care of this shit at home, you wouldn't have to worry about that. But that's why you see this right here. Vouchers ease startup stress for churches seeking demand for more Christian schools. Now, I went to a Christian school. I didn't enjoy it because of the religious aspect of it. It really turned me off to religion because of the hypocrisy that I found inside that church. Also, they didn't like me because I went to a different church than that church was, and that was things didn't line up. Let's just put it that way. But Florida pastor Melvin Adams knows a few hours of church programming every week is no match for more than 30 hours children spend in secular schools absorbing lessons that he say run counter to their family's Christian beliefs. Like other theologically conservative parents in Florida and beyond, he's decided his Nazarene church in the Orlando suburbs could do something about it. Now, the inaugural semester of Winter Garden Christian Academy is underway at Faith Family Community Church, educating K through 4 students within the church biblical worldview. We're making disciples, and we're doing it not just on Sundays, but we're doing it all week long. I feel like we have a leg up here in Florida. Yeah, I don't trust people like that. But hey, the state has an expansive voucher program in which taxpayers help to pay tuition for all families who want to send their kids to private schools. While it's not the primary reason Faith Family Community and other churches are launching Christian schools on the campus, the vouchers just made it easier. That's all. Pass test. That's right. Pass test. Read the other day that day grades were crisis. Imagine the doctors, lawyers, pilots, even plumbers and electricians not having to pass tests. Yeah. Yeah. Ah, yes. Went to Catholic school girl, and we had had nuns for teachers. Yeah, I did not enjoy it. Yeah, that could be wild. Rosa Duke, there goes my day job of cleaning out gardens, pouring rain, and I have a dog that does not like rain. Okay, it's not about hurting public schools, said Jimmy Scroggins. Oh, I would hate to have a name like that sounds a lot like a scrotum. Whose family church in South Florida is hoping to launch 3 classical Christian schools over the next year because there is big money in schools. He said it's about giving parents more schooling options that align with their, and I don't say, they want to say Christian, I would say religious values. There's nothing wrong with that. If I'm not mistaken, the niece and nephew, which are in kindergarten and first grade respectively, and next year they'll be in first and second grade. They go to a Christian school that's was like started. It does like pre-K, and then they have kindergarten on, and it's a religious aspect. Neither my brother-in-law or his wife are religious, but they send them there because of the voucher system, and it's also they know that their kids are being well taken care of and well looked after. Which they wouldn't have had that option had they sent them to certain public schools in Florida. Just saying. I mean, if you think about this, the voucher system in Florida also makes it easier for students to go where they feel welcome. Like if they've got friends that are all going to a certain school, they're more than likely to go to that same school. Like the nephew that graduated last year, they had, what was it, like 2,000 students or some crap. It was a ridiculous amount of students that graduated. And we're not talking, oh, well, they got passed up on. It's like, no, these kids are freaking bright. I mean, and they don't have like this diversity, equity bullshit being taught in their class. He did good enough that he was number 2 in his class? Number 2, I think it was number 2. It was number 3. He was number 3 in his class. And just amazingly bright. But he got his college paid for because of that, or a good portion of his college is being paid for. Pretty neat. Family churches respond to ongoing demand that rose out of heightened pandemic era scrutiny of what children were being taught in public schools about diversity, equity, inclusion, and other contentious issues, he said. In Christian classrooms, pastors say religious beliefs can inform lessons on morals and character building. Teachers are free to incorporate the Bible across subjects, and the immersed environment may give students a better chance of staying believers as adults. If that's what you want for your kid, doesn't matter to me. If you want to send your kid to a public school, had one child moved when he was 4. Oh, had your last child in upstate New York. Very cool. A push for Christian education reformation. Our hope is to accelerate this movement of Christian education. Well, that was pretty big back in the 80s, in the 90s, and I remember there was a movie. What the hell was the name of that movie? Footloose. That was based on on the restrictions of churches. So these churches can go really head over heels down the opposite path and calling everything a sin. Everything's a sin. And although I do agree that school vouchers are a good thing because that allows you to send your kids where you want them to go. Absolutely can send them where you want them to go and give them the training that you think is going to be beautiful. Imagine that this kind of stuff is happening outside of a voting area. Imagine this.
Wow. That's crazy. You locked her up? That is insane, man. She is not influencing people. She is not at all.
Do you know what happened there? Oh, you're wondering what happened? Why she was arrested? Well, the reason that she was arrested is because the police were telling people to get out of line for early voting. Tell them to go home. Too late. And she was correct in saying that if you were standing in line to vote, whenever you're standing in line to vote, you get out of that line, you can't get back into it. They do have a cutoff, and it's the same way with the election this year. If you get in line, if you're in one of those locations where they have long lines, make sure that you've got some water and all that neat kind of stuff. Maybe carry a bucket along with you, whatever you need to do. But you get in that line. Do not get out of that line until you've cast your vote. They cannot shut you down once you're in that line. They cannot stop you from placing your vote. But I would suggest get in there early, get your voting done, get it tallied in. Serious. That is against the law to do exactly what they did right there. Of course, by then it doesn't matter, because once they arrested her for her telling people that you need to stay in line, the damage is already done. It's a fear tactic. Don't let them put fear into you like this. Don't let them put fear into you like this. Tonight, we've got some good stuff coming up. I don't know what I'm going to be talking about, but I'm sure it'll be good. Irreverent of what you might think about me. I'm going to have a good time. It's going to be good for me to not be doing the Sarah Boone tonight. Oh my God. So happy that is over. So glad that she went to jail, and is going to be, hopefully, the punishment is harsh against her. Hopefully that punishment is harsh and swift, and it resolves any question that people were having of her innocent. Imagine watching that and believing that she's innocent of being a horrible human being. And how fast the jury came back. Damn. 2 weeks. Decided in less than an hour and a half. Those churches are churches that are legalistic, not full gospel, teaching things that aren't in line with the word. They take a few verses and add the word. They're heretics. There are good ones, though. Yeah, there are. Yeah, there are. There are good groups out there, but that is entirely up to you to decide where you want to send your kids. And with that, everybody have a wonderful day. I'm going to head this thing off before it gets too out of hand. And I will see you guys tonight. I will be doing a stream. I've got some stuff on the back burner that I've been holding on to for a little bit, but I am definitely going to see you guys later on this evening. Also, keep in mind, next Tuesday night, as those polls are coming in, as they come rolling in, we're watching. Everybody's going to be watching the election. All eyes are going to be on the election. We're going to be covering that. probably not wearing any pants, probably have a little bit too much alcohol, but it's going to cost you. Just saying, it's going to cost you. If it's going to cost my liver, it's going to cost you. We're going to have a nice election stream. It's going to be fun. We're going to mock every bit of it all along the way. We are going to find ourselves into a long election cycle. Just saying. You think it ends and it's going to end on election night? Well, unless it's incontrovertible that there was a clear win and no shenanigans happen on either side, we should know on that evening. So you guys make sure that you're subbed up, like that button thing, that you hit over there. There's some button over there that you're supposed to hit that tells you you're subscribed, and I don't know. It really helps out the algorithm. Even the thumbs down helps out the algorithm. We love whenever that happens. It makes us feel warm and fuzzy inside in the most gentle way. Just so good. And where I send you guys, make sure that you are subbed up to this lovely young lady. She's one of the nicest people that you'll ever meet. She has a humor unbound and knows no bounds. Everyone have a wonderful day. Make sure you hit the like button on the way in, on the way out, and we will see you on the flip side. Peace.
Bless your heart. I thought I was the only mentally challenged one here.
Get it, yeah, oh yeah. Early morning, rise and shine. Coffee's brewing, feeling fine. News is out and on the air. Shizzy Whiz nuts wild, but we don't care. Morning Whiz and Coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz, let's start the show. Let's go. Get it, yeah, oh yeah. Headlines spinning in the breeze. Stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java, wear a smile. Pants are off, but stay a while. Morning Whiz and Coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz, let's start the show. Let's go. Get it, yeah, oh yeah. Headlines spinning in the breeze. Stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java, wear a smile. Pants are off, but stay a while. Morning Whiz and Coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz, let's start the show. Let's go. Get it, yeah, oh yeah. Serious is overrated. Every day we're caffeinated. Talk the town, but in a jest. Morning Whiz is always best. Clock is ticking, time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop. Clock is ticking, time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop.
Oh my god, Shizzy breaks
No
Larry.
way.
Shizzy broke Larry.